Hello, I'm Celeste, and I'm a researcher, visualizer, and a service designer. I'm studying instructional design and technology because I'm interested in how design thinking can promote education to make it more accessible for everyone. I've been running educational workshop for designer in higher education, focusing on giving the learner the possibility to think critically when learning. I love face-to-face learning, but since the pandemic started, I had to adapt to online education. But surprisingly, I've become more and more fascinated by it because it reaches many more people and increases the diversity of the learners. Now, I'm working on educating people on hand washing practices in rural Africa. And my aim is to trigger the learners to take action and build solutions for washing hands by themselves. In this video, I will show how the concept of learning has changed throughout the time and how often we are still using outdated techniques in learning. In the past, the learner was considered as a blank space who could absorb information from the teacher, and the only thing he had to do was transferring knowledge onto them. The instructor was in control of the learning process, and their interaction relied basically on students asking questions. The content was mostly a package of knowledge provided to the students. This is a great advantage in terms of time and cost management because it doesn't need to take into account or into consideration the diversity of the students. So it doesn't require any customization. This way of teaching is still in use, but let's see how it has been evolving in the last decade. The learner, in this case, is the creator of his own knowledge. So through his own exploration, he makes sense of the experience by reflecting and thinking critically to what happens around him. Therefore, the content comes from different sources that can be searched by the learner himself. The instructor becomes a facilitator of the student's thinking process. And instead of providing knowledge, he provides support for critical reflection and problem solving. The teacher helps the learner to construct knowledge as well as their peers. So the instructor supports the creation of a context in which peers can learn and gather knowledge from each other, and of course support their development. This model of learning is clearly less time and cost effective because take into account the diversity of the learner. However, provides a much more effectiveness in what we call knowledge retention. I want to give you an example on the project I'm currently working on. The aim of the project is to teach why and how and when to wash hands and how to build solutions for washing hands more easily. However, now the way of teaching these things relies on telling the learner what is correct and what is wrong. A more constructive approach can benefit the learner to reflect on their own reason to wash hands. For example, I can protect my kids or I could protect my parents. And it can also stimulate them in building solution for washing hands. We call it hand washing station. Thank you for listening, and if you're interested in knowing more about this project, please get in contact with me.